Texas bill opens ERCOT to grid interconnection. If recently introduced Texas legislation, HB 199, passes, the state's famously independent power grid could begin a transformation that reshapes how energy is bought, sold, and regulated across the Lone Star State. The bill would permit ERCOT, the Electric Reliability Council of Texas, to interconnect with power grids outside of its historically isolated region. That change could mark the end of ERCOT's long-standing exemption from federal regulation and open the door to new infrastructure, greater grid resilience, and a rebalanced energy market. What would change? Under HB 199, utilities in the ERCOT power region, including municipally owned and cooperative utilities, would gain the legal authority to build and operate transmission infrastructure that links ERCOT with neighboring grid systems, e.g. SPP or MISO, purchase wholesale power from outside the state to help stabilize supply during peak demand, synchronize their operations with external grids, removing the long-standing electrical isolation hassle. If passed, this could mean that by the late 2020s, electricity could flow into Texas from other regions during winter freezes, summer heat waves, or other emergencies, alleviating blackouts like those experienced during Winter Storm Uri in 2021. Texas-generated renewable power could be exported more easily, creating new revenue streams for wind and solar developers. The state would lose full control over how wholesale electricity markets operate, inviting oversight from the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, FERC. The regulatory future of ERCOT. By September 1, 2027, the Public Utility Commission of Texas, PUCT, would be required to identify which transmission lines are eligible for interconnection. Those utilities would then be mandated to seek the necessary federal approvals and begin physical interconnection work. A completed interconnection, either synchronous or non-synchronous, would likely bring ERCOT under partial federal jurisdiction for the first time since its creation. Currently, ERCOT operates almost entirely within Texas to avoid triggering FERC oversight under the Federal Power Act. If implemented, HB 199 would establish a formal process for applying for interconnection certificates, bypassing older requirements that prioritized public convenience and necessity. Utilities would instead only need to prove that the interconnection does not pose a significant and imminent risk to public health and safety, a markedly lower bar. Impacts on the Texas energy market. Should this bill pass and interconnections proceed, grid reliability would likely improve, especially during weather emergencies, as utilities gain access to external backup supply. Market volatility could ease during periods of peak demand, as power could be imported instead of relying solely on in-state generation. Clean energy development could accelerate, with improved pathways for selling surplus wind and solar power beyond Texas borders. At the same time, energy independence advocates argue that Texas would lose a measure of its regulatory autonomy. FERC would have increased jurisdiction over wholesale transactions and transmission policies, something many Texas lawmakers have long tried to avoid. A timeline for integration. If enacted, the bill sets the following timeline in motion. By September 2027, PUCT identifies potential ERCOT to non-ERCOT interconnection points. Between 2027 and 2031, utilities must begin the process of construction, federal coordination, and certification. By August 31, 2031, full interconnection must be complete, including infrastructure build-out and legal compliance. You've been listening to Sustainability Soundbites from E+E Leader, where the business of sustainability meets real-world impact. Thanks for being a loyal listener. To inquire about brand partnership opportunities, reach out to a member of the E+E Leader team.